Welcome. We bid you welcome, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world. And today we are going to be talking about Samantha. No, we're not talking about Samantha Fox. Sorry. There's an Easter egg with that. Go to John the Music Nuts channel and check out why I say that. No, up to the limit. Episode number 16. We're going to be coming too mean to die. John the Music Nut, first of all, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. How about you? And
Tell you what, we got Dan from Off the Charts in the house today. Dude, it's great to have you.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having
Yes,
me, by the way.
salud. I
Yes.
will. So this is our third week in a row with a Canadian. And it's been interesting because when I get to the chart action, this album doesn't chart in Canada.
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't chart in the States either, but but before we turn it to Dan, I'm gonna just do my quick little thing here. So yes, the 16th album. This one would be the first to feature Martin Motnik, who would replace original bass player Peter Baltus in 2019. Also features another rhythm guitar player named Philip Schuss. I guess is how you pronounce his name, or Schaus. Um, so this album would be the only one they actually record as a six piece. So this is a pretty meaty guitar album based album here. Last one they would do for Nuclear Blast would be recorded during 2020 through most of the pandemic, released in early 2021 on January 29th. Does have three singles. We have The Undertaker, released in October 2020. Too Mean to Die in November 2020, and Zombie Apocalypse shortly after the album comes out, or shortly before the album comes out, January 2021. So three singles. I didn't look to see if they did a video though. That I should have checked that out. But
They had one for The Undertaker.
okay,
Yeah,
all
for
right,
sure.
okay,
That's all.
I'm surprised the WWE didn't try to use it in any of their video packages for the Undertaker. But anyway, I digress. So charts for which is weird thinking about chart action during the pandemic. I don't know why this kind of struck me as weird, but yeah, Austrian charts, number nine, the two different Belgian charts. Now here again, this is the weird thing about Belgian charts. One, it goes to on the Ultra Pop Flanders chart, 92. Ultra Pop Wallonia, it goes all the way up to 39. I still have yet to figure out what the difference is between these two charts. Czech albums, over in Czechoslovakia, 38. Over in Finland, charts at number 4. French album charts, number 88. John's favorite one, The German Jazz, number 2. This did very well in Germany. Hungarian, number 11. Polish, number 10. Scottish album charts, number 14. We were just talking about about Spanish speaking things right before we started recording, and so the Spanish album charts for Pro Musique, I guess is how you pronounce that, number 33. Swedish charts, number 7. Swiss charts, number 4. UK independent album 7, and UK rockin' albums number 3. No US charts for this one. I'm guessing either everybody was just Spotifying or Apple Musicing or whatever, but nobody in America apparently was buying this album, which I don't know about you guys, but I think that's a little bit of a shame. But so with that in mind, Dan, first of all, tell us about your channel, and then we'll let you go into how you got into Accept, and then we'll let you be the first to be too mean to die.
All right, so my channel is called Off the Charts. If you're wondering, it's actually a play on my last name, which is Chartrand, and how I originally was going to be doing this as music that's not on the charts, if that makes any sense.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
I do album rankings. I try to also plant the seed with other either newer bands that people may not know, or bands that they may have forgotten about, just to, remind them, plant a seed or whatever. Just, oh yeah, remember those guys, or I didn't know about those guys. I also do an album analysis on Wednesdays, and there's a contest actually coming up on my channel to celebrate 800 subscribers. So every 100 subscribers, I do a free draw anywhere around the world. So if you're interested, come on, stop by. And how I got into Accept, oh my God. It was definitely the video for Balls to the Wall. That's here in Canada was, did I say something funny?
It's been a consensus. The consensus reason.
Oh, okay. That's pretty much
because a lot of us sort of around the same age.
Yeah.
We all got in. A lot of us got in through Balls to the Wall. So that's why we were smiling and laughing.
Yeah. Now I don't even know how to.
Sorry.
I didn't buy anything. Like, it wasn't. Again, you go with how much money you have as a teenager, and you have to buy what. I remember my friend buying like a greatest hits, and would you believe that? And it wasn't Balls to the Wall. It was actually I'm a Rebel, which I effing loved. I love that song. It's so punkish and extremely repetitive, but there was something about it. I just loved it. And then I kind of went backwards and started getting. Oh, and I remember the video for Generation Class for some reason, which I didn't like at the time. But then there was the break, the split. Well, split number 1, split number 2. Then we got Mark Tornillo on vocals now. And I guess that's where it's with Blood of the Nations. I guess I started buying everything from Accept. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into them. I never saw them live.
Okay.
Well, see, here in Canada, Ottawa, I'm from Ottawa, Canada, there's either bars or 16,000 arenas, but they're building a mid-size venue for like those 1,000s or 2,000 seaters, which is what Accept would draw in this town, I guess, there. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I got into them. I know my friends saw them live. They were opening for Motley Crue. I think it's either Shout at the Devil tour, maybe. So they came by here, but I think that's the last time they came into this town was whatever tour was for Shout at the Devil in 83, 84.
Right.
So there you go. That's how I got into them. Just videos, people talking, and then I'm like, my friend got that greatest hits. I'm like, that's actually pretty good. So there you go.
There you go. All right. So, which brings us now to Too Mean to Die. So we'll let you tell your story about what you think about this album and go through the tracks however you want to review it.
Sounds good. Before I do, though, look at this.
Okay. Da-da-da.
One of us has 2 copies of this, okay, of the album. I'm a pre-order king. Like, I do pre-orders. My friend Steve from Rock and Metal Invasion says I have FOMO, fear of missing out, which is true. And especially with Nuclear Blast, Frontiers, you got to order them almost immediately.
Yeah.
But then I listened to the album, and I don't know the songs except for maybe The Undertaker that came out. And I play it. All right, Accept. Side number 2, Accept. It's a double vinyl, by the way. Side C. I'm like, it says Accept on the vinyl. It says Accept on a label. It says Accept here on the back. And I'm like, this is not Accept that's playing. So I Shazam it. And side C, and you actually can check Discogs, because I'm not the only one who had this problem, but you check Discogs for the gray vinyl of Too Mean to Die. And side C is actually, when you Shazam it, is Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. So it's the recording of Phil Campbell on the Bastard Sons, but it says Accept. So of course I'm like, then of course I play side D, works perfectly. So then I have to email or contact Nuclear Blast, and I'm like, yeah, it's not the right band. Well, you have to prove it. So imagine me, I'm playing my record, then I got my iPhone, Shazamming it, showing the title, and then I got my iPad on top, filming all that, showing that it's Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, and they're like, "Oh, okay, now we'll send you another copy," which was a red splatter. That's all they had left. So this is the other one there. And there's a little bit of a difference, and they're both Nuclear Blast. You could see they're not the same lettering. Even the Nuclear Blast logo is different.
Huh.
Right.
See, wow. But it's the same batch, like this, but different printing. I don't know. It's a weird mess. Anyway, that was my little weird story, but it's how I had to prove that it wasn't Accept singing. I mean, that voice, if anybody else, maybe I would have thought it was the same band, but Accept's voice is very recognizable. So anyway, Accept, To Mean to Die. What do I think of this? Okay. I like Accept, but I find that when Teutonic Terror came out, to me, that was a wow times 10.5 moment. Okay. They have yet to give me that feeling after that. Stalingrad, Blind Rage, To Mean to Die, all of them. And this is the same thing with this. This is good stuff. Memorable to a point. I was watching your other episode before, the other guy at Metal, I forget his name.
Metal Roger?
The long beard there. He said formulaic, which is actually a good word. They're very formulaic. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's like a Motorhead album. It's like an AC/DC album. You know exactly what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Nothing, but it's always the same great riffs, but there's just missing that wow moment, I find, that Teutonic Terror had. To me, that was like, wow. Zombie Apocalypse is a decent opener. Probably not what I would have used for an opener. To Mean to Die, good song. Great solo, by the way. Overnight Sensations is my favorite song because it's got the Accept classic chorus. More, especially you find it on Russian Roulette, I find there. That would be my favorite of the album. No One's Master, again, another good melodic guitar after the chorus. The Undertaker, musically is great, but the lyrics, and I'm not a lyrics guy, but man, these lyrics are dumb. I'm like, I'm listening to this, I'm like, really? That's, okay, whatever. Sucks to Be You, So. Symphony of Pain, they tend to do these little guitar solos. That is, there's something, I don't know what the song is, but I'm thinking Trans-Siberian Orchestra, like a Christmas song. In Metal Heart, they do like the little orchestral. I don't know what the song is, but I think of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. What is it?
It's Beethoven.
Okay.
They do the guitar solo. Wolf plays the most well-known piece would be from Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Okay, there you go.
Fifth Symphony, and there's also a little piece from his Ninth Symphony in there as well.
There you go. Well, that's what Trans-Siberian Orchestra does. Also, is all that
right?
The Best Is Yet to Come. Another good mid-pace, but his voice is a little bit different than the voice. It's not the. It's like a very normal voice, I find, for that one. How Do We Sleep? A lot of the typical low Accept vocals, like those ones there. But the Halloween, the guitar is a little bit like Halloween, I find. Okay. Not my problem. But Samson and Delilah, the instrumental at the end, I friggin' love. It's got this Indian feel to it, I find. So, good, not great. You listen to this one and you listen to the one before or after, and it's all one big album, I find. There's nothing that separates, again, apart from Teutonic Terror from that one to Humanoid, I find it's one big album, or that could have, all these songs could have been on any other album. Like, you tell me what that song is, I'm like, I don't know what album it's from, but I know it's the Mark Tornillo era. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about it. I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's good, but nothing. Wow. There you go.
Okay. If you were going to rank it out of 10, what kind of a number?
I would say a seven out of 10. Again, it's good, but
Okay.
nowhere near, like, to me, a 9 or a 10 is like, there's a lot of wow moments, and this is what this album is missing, is a lot of wow moments. So,
Yeah.
not a bad grading, but not a great one either.
Fair enough.
There you
All
go.
right. Cool. All right. John?
All
Floor is
right.
yours.
So, okay. So I think the time off really did them good. I think this was a creative comeback for them. I think this is their best since Stalingrad. I thought that on Blind Rage, there were some good songs, but then they were kind of going through the motions at times. And on Rise of Chaos, I thought they were really going through the motions. I think the creative juices are coming back here. I think the pandemic, the time off, really helped them get back to where they should be. They sound hungry again. The songs, I think, are all at least good. I don't think there's any filler on this album. And
No.
I think there's a few great ones on here as well. So let's get started. A call out to our Walking Dead Society with Zombie Apocalypse. We got the slow burn, the opener, which is becoming very typical for Accept at this point. The pre-chorus kills right on that bridge here, that one part before the chorus kicks in, that's Wolf on vocals.
Oh.
And I picked that up because I saw them on this tour, and we'll talk about that later. We got a short bridge on here, nice lyrical solo. I think this is a strong opener. It does feel very 80s Judas Priest in the riffs. That is something I'm noticing, a lot of Judas Priest on this album. But it's a good opener. Too Mean to Die. We're getting staying heavy, very vigorous, cool riffs on here. Great lead from Wolf. Definitely a better track 2 than Hole in the Head was off of Rise of Chaos. This is very good. Nice bridge after the solo as well. One thing to point out on this album, actually 2 things to point out. We got Deefy writing lyrics again with the band, and we got Martin Molnick as a co-writer on several tracks on here. And I think that's really helped the album because you got a third voice in there making his opinions being known. And of course, with Deefy, who wrote the great lyrics for those classic Accept albums. So, and I think that was a plus for this album. Overnight Sensation, I'm with Dan on this. I think the song kills. They were trying to go really topical on Analog Man from The Rise of Chaos, and I thought the song was flat. This, I think, is killer. This should have been all over your hard rock radio stations during 2021, but the programmers are probably like, oh, Accept they're an old band. But this kills. I think this would have fit right in, like musically, this would have fit right in on Metal Heart or Russian Roulette. It's very melodic, very heavy. It's catchy. The chorus is awesome. I need instant gratification. I'm an overnight sensation. So many. It's basically about our look at me generation, which is what you have out there on social media. Excellent pre-chorus and chorus on here. Great call and response. This is one of the best songs of the Mark era. I would definitely put a top 5, and I think this should have been a single. No One's Master. This is very good as well. Nice vocal melody on here. Nice, cool lyrical guitar line in the passages. Martin and Christopher are playing like a machine on here. Nice bridge on this as well. Nice lyrical guitar lines in between the verses on here as well. Good song. The Undertaker I like a lot. And this was when I first heard something off of Too Mean to Die. I like that slow burn. I like Mark's lyrics. I like Mark's lyrics on here, unlike Dan. And and I do like his vocal delivery on here. I like the two tonic harmonies on here.
Yes.
That's those are very good. Subtle guitar lines. I like the cool bass lines
Yes.
under Wolf's solo. Very, very creative. Good stuff. Rich or poor, large or small, the Undertaker takes them all. This is a
Rest
shout out
in
to
peace.
Mark Calloway, the late great William Moody, and my friends Richard and Brent Snowden, who run the Snowden Funeral Home and have introduced me to a lot of great music, but not heavy metal music. Sucks to be you. Cool riff, heavy, very cunning lyrics. It's decent. It's probably my least favorite song on the album, but I still like it. Symphony of Pain. This is a lyrical and musical tribute to Ludwig van Beethoven. Cool guitar lines on here to open. We got some great double bass goodness from Christopher on here. Wolf is playing parts from the Fifth Symphony and the Ninth Symphony in the guitar solo. The Fifth Symphony is probably Beethoven's most famous work. But this is about Beethoven's life. They did a great job with this song lyrically and musically. The best is yet to come. Mark at his most tender vocally. Mm-hmm. He's not going into those screams or anything. He's singing this straight. He sounds excellent here. I think it's very well written. I think it's a very good chorus. Lyrically, it's very personal. I think the song is great. Next couple songs I think are decent. How Do We Sleep? Cool end, cool beginning with the drum beats and then each instrument coming in every 8 measures. I think that's really cool. Got driving rhythm on here. We got a nice strong solo. Here come those two tonic harmonies again. Good track, as is Not My Problem. Call and response between Mark's vocals and guitar lines are very well done. Poignant lyrics on here. It's just a straight up banger. It's good. It's not great. I mean, it's definitely better than most of what's on Rise of Chaos. Even the tracks that are not so strong on here, I still think would be highlights on the album that we reviewed last week. Samson Delilah. This was originally written by Camille Saint-Saëns and Antonin Dvorak for the opera of that name in 1877, and it's arranged by Wolf Hoffmann. I think this is a strong instrumental to close the album. Very good arrangement here by Wolf, and I think the band do a very strong job on this. This is a good way to end the album, which I thought was a comeback for them creatively. I give this an 8 out of 10.
Rock and roll.
There you go.
Rock and roll. All right. Well, gosh, do I have anything different to add to any of this? Well, that's going to be a good question. Yeah, to me, Zombie Apocalypse picks right up where everything else is left off. So nothing, just straight up and just going right at you. Love the Walking Dead references there. I thought that was or maybe not reference, but it certainly felt like you were like this would fit perfectly in the show. I too got the Jewish priest sound like.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, good song construction. Lyrically very self-explanatory. There's really nothing deep to figure out here. So good track, good opening track. I liked it. Too Mean to Die. Yeah, Deafy returns. Because the Zombie Apocalypse was just a Wolf and Mark written song. So yeah, Deafy returns for Too Mean to Die. Good pummeling track. Yeah, maybe not somebody you want to meet in a dark alley. I've said nothing really to add there because that's kind of what I got out of it lyrically. But yeah, I love it. It's a good punchy song. I like the chorus. It kind of got stuck in my head. One thing I'll say is this album. I think there's a lot more I think that got stuck in my head, and I think I'll elaborate when I get to the end of this. Right. Overnight Sensation, kind of an AC/DC like opening, but transitions to that familiar accept territory. nothing like picking on the influencers who sit in their bedroom and they figure out how, they can breed organic salamanders and be able to make millions of dollars, and this is how they go on you on whatever. And then I also got thinking, it's like, well, I do this all in my bedroom, and I'm looking around me. I'm like, not much. I'm not a millionaire, but it's not much different, I guess. But hey, I'm far from an overnight sensation. But I dug this track. I love the chorus. I thought it certainly. I agree with what you guys said. Would have fit in great on those albums. No One's Master. Man, what I got out of this, being your own person but not giving into others' demands is kind of how not feeding into that what all the media wants to hype at you and you know ram down your throat because God knows we don't believe anything the media says, do we?
Yeah.
Anyway, nice riffs, nice feel, good bridges, pre-chorus, pretty much everything you guys have said here. I like The Undertaker. I like the somber opening. Um, you know, you have this great character of The Undertaker. He he sees death, like you said, big or small, rich or poor, whatever. But one day death's going to come for him too.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's going to come to us all, whether we want to or not. Good lyrical solos. Again, everything you said. Sucks to be you. Gee, I didn't know they knew me back then. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, I think this is kind of a humor track. I like it. Good chord chugging riff, but yeah, this is definitely this is definitely the humor track of the album. I still dug it. Symphony of Pain, love all the Beethoven references in this. Definitely showing where Wolf's classical influences, started really shining right about now. And I think really through the whole Mark era, I think they've kind of been shining a lot more. He really has come into his own as a guitar player really since then. Um, Let me see. The best is yet to come, the closest thing to a ballad on this album.
Mhm.
Um, you love the clean vocals, to me, I got out of this where, life has its ups and downs, but there's hope, there's optimism, and it's funny. I was trying to think. There was a voice that Mark's voice tends to remind me of, and I think I finally figured it out. And Dan, you mentioned Trans-Siberian Orchestra. If you listen to a couple of those really early TSO albums, there's one guy that sings on. I can't remember which song it is.
I
I
think
think
I know.
it's like toward the end of the album, I believe.
Mhm.
Um, and he kind of has that really rough, gruffy voice. And I'm like, yeah, Mark kind of sounds a little like that. I can't, like I said, I can't think of I can't think of the name of the song, but anyway, all I can hear is the Merry, Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas,
Oh,
Merry, Merry
that song is
Christmas.
amazing. Yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah,
it.
and I can't think of the name of the title, but anyway, yeah, great track. How Do We Sleep? you know, I looked at this as like, what's our role when we see things going on in the world that just don't seem to make any sense? When you see all these people in power and they're making all these decisions, and I'm like, how do you sleep with yourself? How do you sleep at night? And you see it, you hear that kind of thing on TV. It's like, how do you sleep, how do you sleep at night? But yeah, you said Halloween. I was thinking Maiden, but I'm not a Halloween person, so I wouldn't have picked that up, but that would make sense too. Um, Not my problem. You made your bed, now go sleep in it. But don't be bugging me about it. Don't be bugging me about your problems. I feel like I've done that a lot with folks, so I know the feeling. Anyway, good boogie, four on the floor rocker. Yeah, good song to end the vocal part of the album. Samson and Delilah, I thought Wolf did a wonderful job with this album. Just the groove, the that Indian feel to it. Yeah, really nice, different kind of closer. This was, what was it? Objection Overruled that had the two, or was it
Death
Predator that
Row.
had the what?
Death Row.
Death Row. Death Row had the ended with the two random instrumentals that made no sense. This one, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I appreciated that. So now I know I ranked Blood of the Nations pretty high because it was just such a, even though it was a pummeling album, I know I gave it like a 9 or 9.5. I can't remember exactly what it was, but but because it was just so pummeling, it's like it wasn't drawing me back for repeat listens. And I have to be honest, this was probably the first album in the Tornillo era that really made me want to go back to listen to it again once I finished it. So I'm gonna be kind of nice and give this an 8.5.
Wow.
Just because there was something about this album just drew me back. I don't know if it was just all the different topics that they used instead of just the like all the war topics that they've been doing, or just all the kind of stuff that we've come to know on those last few albums. Well, this one just seemed to take a different turn. And I think Humanoid will have that too, especially with the Jack song and a couple of other things. So that's it was kind of nice to have that, not that heaviness dropped on you, I guess is how I would say that. That's that's how I interpret it. So there you go. So did they manage to get out and do any kind of touring with this album since this came out around the end of the, well, kind of still, we're still kind of in pandemic mode, really, because
Yeah.
we were still shut down in early, well, let me rephrase that. There, like, venues were still kind of shut down into early 2021. So I didn't
'Cause
know when they started to. Yeah, we were for example, I was supposed to see Jeff Tate in 2020, and right before our state shut down was when I was originally supposed to see him, and that was in March of 2020. They rescheduled it for December. The They still didn't really open everything up all that much yet, so concert venues still hadn't been doing anything yet. So we still, and then Jeff Tate didn't come back around until earlier this year. So that was my example of that. So yeah, I didn't know when venues really started opening back up again, at least in the States. I don't know what it was for you in Canada, Dan.
We, my God, I don't even remember as much. Like, I remember my first concert after the pandemic when everything opened was Kim Mitchell. And I caught COVID because some jackass was sitting beside me and insisted on talking to me like between each song. I'm like, buzz off. Like, but the touring part, like I know there was a plan for it because I remember seeing a video of Wolf showing off his new guitar, which had the snake or the serpent. This was his guitar had this. He's like, oh, look at this. So, but I guess John will let us know if there was a tour or not.
Well, I am happy to tell you that there was a tour. In fact,
Ooh.
the tour started on July 2nd, 2021 at Penn's Peak in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Who
Ooh,
was
There you
there?
go.
I was there.
Oh,
yeah.
so that was the first show of the tour, and you were there?
Yes, I
Wow.
was there. And it was the first time I ever saw Accept. And they had Blackfoot as special guests. They played without Huey Lewis because he was stuck in Germany and couldn't get a visa to come back to the United States because of COVID. Mark was not happy. And Mark let his frustrations be known, particularly before the song Pandemic. So they did 6 dates in 2021. That was the first date. The second date was at the M3 Rock Festival at Merriweather Post Pavilion, Columbia, Maryland. What I heard about this show was that's a hair metal festival,
Mhm.
and that a lot of people, when Accept came on stage, they were stunned because they were thinking, oh, hair metal festival, why are we getting destroyed by Accept? But those who were into Accept appreciated it. They also played at Mulcahy's in Wonton, New York, and at Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York. Rest in peace to Chance.
Yes.
Then they took a break and they went back out to Europe in June of 2024 and played Gagarin 2015 in Athens, Greece, Sweden Rock Festival in Norge, Sweden, Rock in the City Vantaa in Vantaa, Finland, Parade Platz in Blieskastel, Germany, Rock Hars 2022 in Ballenstadt, Germany, Dom Kulturi in Sered, Slovakia, Alcatraz Metal Festival in Kojenik, Belgium. And then in the fall of 22, we come back to the States. Brooklyn Bowl, Nashville in Nashville, Tennessee, Rail Club in Fort Worth, Texas, the Whiskey A Go-Go in West Hollywood, California, the Venue in Denver, Colorado, the Rave in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Arcadia Theater in St. Charles, Illinois, which was one of the 6 dates in 2021, and they came back in 2022. Phoenix Concert Theater, Toronto, Ontario, the only Canadian date, their first Canadian date in several years, by the way. And they played Penn's Peak again on October 20. I was there. And Jason McMaster was on lead vocals.
Yes, I remember that.
For a sick Mark Tornillo, Narcotic Wasteland Open. They were really good too. They played Debonair Music Hall, Teaneck, New Jersey, Tupelo Music Hall, Derry, New Hampshire, King of Clubs in Columbus, Ohio. Then in 2023, they go back out and play Europe again. Turbinen Hall, Oberhausen, Germany, Le Bataclan, Paris, France, Sala Totem, Vilova, Spain, Complex 457, Zurich, Switzerland, Rathrussal in Telfs, Austria, Barbara Negro Sapel, Budapest, Hungary, Regresia, Warsaw, Poland, Halidhos in Tallinn, Estonia, Rockefeller Music Hall, Oslo, Norway. I think I'm mentioning that place a lot on the tour dates. Trudgaren in Gothenburg, Sweden, Storvega in Copenhagen, Denmark, Garage in Saarbrücken, Germany, Live Club in Trezzo, Ada, Italy. I can't forget Italy.
That's right,
Hello, Mangus. Pepper Club, San Jose, Costa Rica, Expo Centro, San Pedro Sula, Honduras. Interesting. Bogota Metal Fest in Bogota, Colombia, Metal Fest 2023 in Quito, Ecuador. And then they end their, well, they did a couple more festivals, Metal Fest in Santiago, Chile, Torque and Roll in Colombo, Brazil. And then at the end of 2023, they played dates at Knockout in Cologne, Germany. It was the Knockout Festival. And they also played in Karlsruhe, Germany as well. So there you go. So it was 90 dates, 28 in the US and Canada, only one in Canada. And it was over like 2.5 years.
Wow.
But they were taking their time.
Yeah, so to answer your question, or John's question, yes, they toured.
Yes,
and then some.
they toured. Tom twice.
Right.
And didn't get the full accept either time.
Right.
No.
Right. What songs did you see what songs they did from this album?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for mentioning that. They did hit 7 songs off this album.
Wow.
Zombie Apocalypse was the opener on the tour, both times I saw them. They did Too Mean to Die, Overnight Sensation, The Undertaker, Symphony of Pain, The Best Is Yet to Come, and at 6 dates, they did Samson and Delilah. So there you go.
Okay. So my question back on the venue for you, Dan, was like, when did venues in 2021 start opening back up?
I think it all happened. Oh my God. Well, that was 3 years ago now. I'm trying to remember. Like, I know that Kim Mitchell was my first one. Very slowly, because I know oh my God, we either have arenas here or bars.
Yeah.
Or we have seating like I don't want to say opera houses, but something similar like that. But yeah, I'm trying to remember when this opened up. Because I know there was a whole bunch of cancellations, like Chris Holmes. We were supposed to go see that. Didn't happen. That's a good question. I really don't remember, John. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it took me. I mean, my first
A
concert
good
after.
year for sure.
Yeah, my first concert was October 2022. And that was Steve Vai. So, that it took almost, I mean, it was from 2019 was the last concert before the pandemic that I saw, and then
Mhm.
2022. So yeah, it was like 3 years before I finally got to a concert.
Not 3 years
And
here,
then I was
but
like, boom, boom, boom.
for like I said, I remember the second that there were concerts announced, I jumped on it.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, some people were not prepared, and that one guy at Kim Mitchell, I could have friggin' decked his. 'Cause actually, I missed my friend's 50th birthday party because of that nitwit there.
Well,
Like I can't go and infect everybody there, but that's when people were starting to. So, okay, 20. If I turned 50, that would have been 2022. So that was about that time. 2022
okay.
was when April 2022 was when my buddy's birthday for 50th was. So it was just before that I saw my first concert. Now that I
Okay.
think of it.
Okay. What about you, John? How I know this is like a weird thing to talk about, but I mean, because this came out during the pandemic, what about you? Well, like when did the venues that you noticed start really opening back up?
It depended on the venue. I saw a
Yeah.
ton of shows in
Yes.
2021, but but a lot of them were at the Sellers Hill Theater because they opened back up first.
Okay.
And when they opened up, it was very limited capacity, and they had barriers in between seats.
Mm,
They were plastic.
right.
And as time went on here in Pennsylvania, they kept increasing the capacity level to the point by July of 2021, they were allowing full capacity at shows. So I saw a lot of shows there because they opened first, and I needed to get my live fix back because I
Yeah.
was sick of just sitting home.
Hmm.
So by mid 2021, the bigger venues were opening. And you did have theaters opening in the spring of 2021 too, but Penn's Peak, I think the first show in 2021 may have been Accept.
Hmm.
And then and by that point, there weren't any, I mean, it was based by the band. It was the band's discretion if they wanted to do masks, and some bands would allow it and some bands didn't. I don't remember wearing a mask at the Accept show. I don't think they allowed it. I mean, they said you didn't have to wear a mask.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a big venue and they only had about 400 people because a lot of people didn't want to go back out yet.
Of course, yeah.
A lot of people were still fearful of getting COVID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wasn't near anybody at that show. I was recovering from a knee injury too, so I couldn't stand very long. So I had a seat in the back, and so nobody was near me. By 2022, everything was really back to normal, but it depended on the venue. And
Yeah.
when they did open and they started allowing concerts back, it took them a while before they got to pre-COVID levels.
Right.
We're now everything's back to normal, of
Yeah.
course, but it
Yeah.
took them a while. Like in 2022, then you saw things really going back to normal, and you saw no restrictions, and people were coming back.
Yeah.
That's what I mixed up, by the way. The Kim Mitchell concert was the first show I going where there was no restriction. You didn't need a mask. That's probably why I got COVID because there was. But I did go see Danko Jones and I had a mask on, and that was a bit earlier. That's what I was checking. Is when his album came out was 2021, so it's either going to be 2021 or early 2022. I saw Danko Jones, but there was restrictions there. The Kim Mitchell one was the first show I went without restrictions, and that's when I caught it.
Yeah. Hmm.
One thing I might want to mention is when a lot of places opened up, you had to show proof of vaccine.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
And they would stamp they would give you a separate stamp on your hand for vaccines. I remember for the vaccination. I remember Blue Oyster Cult I saw in 2021. And I think at that show you needed I think you needed to be vaccinated. But the show the night before, who for the band escapes me, you did not. So there were like tents outside that you had to go show
Yeah.
your vaccination card.
Hmm. Yeah, I think for me it was funny because I went to I got COVID twice in 2022.
Right.
Both times when I went to Atlanta. The second thing, I mean, the first thing was a different thing. It had nothing to do with a concert, but the second time was the 2022 tour for Wasp and Armored Saint. I came back from that. And I started feeling I could feel the scratchiness. I felt some other stuff, and I'm like, let me take a test just to make sure. And sure enough, my wife looks like, you're not allowed to go to Atlanta anymore if you're going to keep coming back getting COVID. No. Thankfully, I didn't get COVID this last time when I went to Atlanta after seeing Wasp again. So there you go, folks. Well, sorry, thank you for allowing us to take you on a little journey on the pandemic there for a second. But yeah, so let's talk about Too Mean to Die in the comments. Let us know what you think about this thing, and do all the like, share, subscribing. That if you have yet to check out John's channel, please do so. He's been doing so much wonderful things. Dan's got so much good product coming out on his channel. Please go check it out as well. Next week, we wrap this dog up, as they say. Humanoid. This was the tour we got that John and I watched not too long ago. So we wrap up this series, and Up to the Limit is over. So gentlemen, anything we want to plug before we sign off here? Like Dan, what you got coming down the pike? If you got something to plug.
Yeah, I recorded an episode with Steve from Rock and Metal Invasion yesterday. That's going to appear on the 23rd of December. My dad makes an appearance, and it was a fun mess. Let me put it that way. Very entertaining, but anyway, you'll have to see it there. It's his 5 favorite bands that he discovered because of my channel. Some you'd be pretty surprised, actually. Actually, there was something I wanted to tell you when you showed that Samantha Fox album. I also am a big fan of Samantha Fox, and she has a song that one of my dad likes, but it's originally written by Mama's Boys. I don't know if you're familiar with that Ireland band.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Spirit of America is the song by Mama's Boys, and no, sorry, Spirit of America is the version of Samantha Fox, and I forget the name of the song title. Anyway, that was my little. It's on her 4th album, by the way, not that one that you have.
Not that one. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's. I got my dad coming up. By the way, we will have with me and 2 buddies. We will have our top 10 albums of 2024. We are recording that on the 27th, so that should air the 30th. So we're actually going to be able to. Record and show before the end of the year, as opposed to last year when it was 2 weeks after January. So that's what pretty much I got going right there.
And just in case something decides to sneak out and come out right at the last second,
exactly.
You guys are good. You guys are ready for it. So.
Oh yeah. I received an album yesterday in the mail, but I was like, it's only an EP/single. So it's not going to count. So that doesn't. Gotcha. So I got all my 2024 albums already and close to having them all ranked in the top 10. But yeah, we're going to have that on the 30th. It's going to air on the 30th. So they have different tastes than I do there. So it's a big potpourri of different tastes there. So it's fun.
All right. So Off the Charts. That's what you guys got to go look for. So I've got a mention in the comment or in the description, so just look for it and it'll pop up. John, what you got coming? I know you got another some more Thin Lizzy Thursday coming up.
Yes, that's correct. The next Thin Lizzy Thursday episode will be dropping the next day after you watch this. If you watch the premiere, this will be on December 19th. I will be reviewing their 12th and final studio album, Thunder and Lightning. The next week, I will probably be doing a show on their live albums. I will talk about their official live releases, Live and Dangerous and Life Live. And then I'll have a album ranking of the studio albums as well.
Okay. Cool. Very, very cool. And again, folks, he also did this thing called the album war thing, which I still love that concept. I think that's great with the three albums. They all have the same title, but three totally different genres. It's just it's great stuff, and it's like really makes you go out and dig and say, okay, I wonder what this sounds like, you know. But so yeah, good concept. I love that. So yeah, let's see, Wednesday as this premieres. Yeah, I should have already had Mortification Monday. Album ranking A to Z. I'm probably gonna get in trouble with that one. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of hate for how I rank Genesis's Trick of the Tail song rankings. I'm sure a lot of people get on my case about that, but it's like I told somebody, there's no wrong answers with that album. That's a solid one from start to finish. So it's an 8-way tie to me. But for those of you who tuned into the big live stream, thank you. We're recording this on Sunday, so I have no idea who's going to, if anybody's going to watch it. But hey, you never know. I'm going to just thank you all in advance after the fact, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, next week we'll wrap this dog up with Humanoid, and there you go. So for Dan from Off the Charts,
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, my friend. I'm so glad we had you on. Got to do this again someday. For my co-captain on this near 2-year journey of Wednesday night shows, bringing you all these different catalogs and just having a lot of fun with them. John the Music Nut, off from the Music Nut program. Go like, share, subscribe to it, as well as Dan's. John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner. Rock
And
forever, y'all.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, John.
I forgot to mention it. Since we're watching this Wednesday, his birthday was 2 days ago.
That's right. Thank you both. I really appreciate that. So all right, rock forever, y'all. We'll see you soon. Take care.